Yo,
Hi.
how you feeling about being a host on IMAGI-NATION TV?
I'm really excited and nervous at the same time, but yeah, keen.
What questions you gonna ask?
I guess questions just to get to know people.
Have you told like any of your family or anything?
Yeah, my friend's family.
Are you listening to me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hi.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, this Wi-Fi is messing up, man.
Oh no.
Can you? Oh, you hear? Hello? You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, cool. So what's a bit about your story? Like, tell us about your story.
Yeah, my AIM story. I've been a
Yeah.
part of AIM for a long time. I was a mentee, mentor, and staff member.
Radical.
So.
You like surfing?
Sorry, what was
What?
that?
No, do you like surfing?
Oh, I don't surf, but I'd like to
What?
learn.
This damn Wi-Fi ain't working. I hope you have a great show. When do you start hosting?
Thank you. Now.
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to IMAGI-NATION TV. My name is Sharice Jackson, and this week I will be hosting IMAGI-NATION TV as we explore the theme of kindness. Hopefully, I just fixed my Wi-Fi and it's not as bad as that call with Blue just now. So fingers crossed that this runs well. To back me up today, in case things go a little bit crazy, I've got a co-host, Rianne Miller. Rianne, how are you feeling?
Hey Sharice, super excited to be here watching you absolutely boss today.
Thank you very much. Last week, Rianne was hosting and I was the co-host, and now we've kind of flipped it back over, which is really cool and exciting. We are currently on our 11th week of the show, episode 49, and like I said, we are exploring kindness today. We have our thinkers panel later on, and I think it's going to be a great day. We've got amazing people who will be on the panel. I want to acknowledge that it is Pride Month this month, so happy Pride Month to all the LGBTQI plus people out there, and I hope that you have a great month and celebrate all that it is to be in that crazy world. It also continues on Reconciliation Week this week. We have Karen Mundine here with us, so we'll be able to ask her a couple of questions later on towards the end of the show. Ree, who else do we have on today?
We've also got a co-host from one of our partnered schools here. Bandria, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really great. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity. So, yeah.
We'll continue to give you the platform to lead if and that goes for other kids around the world as well. What do you want to get out of today?
Well, I'm really just here for the experience. I think it's going to be a really great time, and in the future, I think it would be really fun to be a host of a show. So it gives me just that little bit more experience in different areas. So, yeah.
Amazing. Well, on that note, we are currently working with YouTube for a learning playlist, and we're getting some of our previous co-hosts to curate those YouTube playlist videos for us. And I'd love to touch base with you after the show about giving you that opportunity to host your own YouTube channel and to feature on the AIM mentoring playlist.
Sounds awesome. Definitely.
That sounds like a great opportunity. We also have our partner school here today. It's St. John's Evangelist High School. I hope I said that right. And we've got our live audience. So we've got Mitchell, Chloe, Lewis, Courtney, Will, Riley, and Millie in the audience today. And they'll be feeding Rhea and myself some comments for us to read out at the end of the show for the panel. We also have our teacher here, Miss Sandra Hogan. Sandra, how are you going?
Yes, I'm going great. Thanks, Charisse.
Are you excited for the 60-second challenge?
Yeah, and a little nervous.
Don't be nervous. It's going to be fine. All right, we're going to start the 60 seconds on the clock. And let's go. What is your idea of perfect happiness?
I think it's contentment in yourself, being with people you love and doing things you enjoy doing.
Awesome. What's your greatest fear?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. I think not being able to support other people and not being able to help.
On what occasion are you out of your comfort zone?
Musically. I love music. I just can't do it.
What's your current state of mind?
Good. Really good. Excellent.
Great. On what occasion do you value rebelliousness?
When people are I think when it's well informed and people have thought about what they're doing and they're trying to test what they really believe in a respectful manner.
What is your secret power?
Oh, wow. I think being a good teacher and somebody who can help other people learn and trying to bring out other people, the best in other people.
What is the best question you've ever been asked?
Oh, wow. I suppose ones that make you think, which you're doing now, it's a little challenging. So it wouldn't be one question. It'd be ones that make me stop and think about what I'm doing and why I'm here and my sense of purpose.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up the 60-second challenge. Thank you for jumping on today and sharing with everyone. Bandria, how do you reckon your teacher went, your principal?
Oh, she did great.
Out of 10, what's her score?
I'd probably go an 8. It's really good.
8 out of 10, that's not bad. Thank you for all the work you do and for being the principal of a school and showing up every day to educate kids and showing that education is really important. We appreciate all the work you do.
Thanks, Therese. It's a job I'm privileged to have, and to work with young people is just such a gift. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to jump over into our Thinkers panel now, but we've got a quick video that we're going to play first.
If you don't want to work, don't bother dreaming.
Shame is just nothing.
All of us are dealt different cards, and those cards can be awful, but it's what you do. You are responsible for your reaction.
Today on our Thinkers panel, we have some amazing people. We've got Karen Mundine, we've got Amy Louisa Remeikis, sorry if I said that wrong again. We've got Eldin Deng, and we have Dr. Shay. I just want to quickly whip around the grounds and get everyone to introduce themselves. So we'll start with you, Marine.
Hi everyone, it's Marnee, Shay.
Sorry.
That's okay, no worries. You're doing a great job. So I'm from the University of Queensland. I'm currently a senior lecturer in the School of Education and senior research fellow at the Centre for Policy Futures. I have a youth work and teaching background. So I used to be a classroom teacher in flexi schools. They're schools for young people who were pushed out of mainstream, and a lot of our young people are engaged in that context of learning, and I'm really happy to be here today.
Thank you for introducing yourself. Ez, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, sorry about that, just doing a homeschool as well here. So hi everyone, thanks for having me. Well, my name is Eldin Deng. I'm from Southern Sudan. I'm a filmmaker, a creator, and also a trainer and assessor. And I do a lot of community development, and that's how I tell the stories. So basically, that's me.
Thank you for that. Amy, do you want to jump in?
Or, hi, my name's Amy Remeikis. I'm a journalist with The Guardian and I cover politics from Canberra. I originally come from Mount Gambier through Queensland and then with a lot of pit stops, including South Korea and a bunch of places through Asia, ended up covering politics in Canberra. So that's pretty much a very short version of my story.
And we've got Karen. Karen, would you like to jump in?
Hey everyone, it's Karen Mundine here. I'm CEO at Reconciliation Australia, but I'm also a Bundjalung woman from northern New South Wales and really happily living here and working and loving on Gadigal country in the Sydney Basin. My background is in communications and marketing, but I've been doing this gig and working with Reconciliation for a while now, and I just want to say Happy National Reconciliation Week to everyone.
There's something special about being Bundjalung. I also too am from Bundjalung Nation, so we're pretty deadly people, if you ask me. Hey, Karen, what does kindness play in reconciliation?
Yeah, look, this is a really good question to ask. I think when I think about kindness, it's not just about the warm and fuzzy doing the right things, but doing the right things also requires us to be courageous and it's about strength. And sometimes it's about honesty and truth-telling. And that's very much the way that we think about it at Reconciliation Australia. When we think of reconciliation, it is about truth-telling. It is about honesty, but it's doing it in a way that is about helping the other person and making them a better person for it.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for that. Amy, you've done some work in journalism and everything and stuff like that. So how has kindness played a role in that world?
I think there's a really big difference between being kind and being nice. Like nice, I find, can be a way of I guess tone policing a lot of people. It's sort of keeping them quiet, keeping them in their place. Like, you know, like good people should be nice. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I think if you treat people with kindness, that means that you're treating them and their stories with respect. And that's how I've tried to navigate my career. So I haven't always been nice, but I have always tried to be kind. And I think that that can be a key difference.
Yeah, I like how you broke that up, the kindness and the niceness, and it's sometimes two different things. As you are a director, a photographer, a soundtrack producer, you do a lot of different things. How has imagination played in your world and in your day-to-day life?
How imagination played in my day-to-day life. Basically, well, I don't know how I don't know where to start, but how it plays out in my day-to-day life is that when I leave home and go and meet other creators, and we're trying to create something. And when we want to create something, it's for the people, and also it's for us to kind of create some changes within the environment that we live in or the community that we live in. And imagination sometimes for us, as if like we're just imagining things that just go outside, you know, out of our mind and never created any changes. But literally, as creators, we shape how the society look, and also we shape the culture how it's gonna look, whether it's for our, you know, our future generation or just for us ourselves. So it's a huge responsibility to kind of imagine and create and try to navigate the world through, you know, through in the future for the next generation. So you become, sometimes you become a politician, sometimes you become a doctor, sometimes you become a teacher. So basically it comes in with like a big package with you. It's not just like a creator or someone just kind of imagine, because, you know, it's a job that nobody actually kind of respect or give it a credit to at all. So that's my take on that. But I've got so much to say about it, but that's my take on that.
Thank you for sharing those insights and your views on it. Marnee, I'm going to get your name right this time. You are an educator and a researcher. How has kindness helped you with connecting to students or connecting to young people?
That's a great question. Look, kindness to me, a lot of the actions that are connected to kindness is around empathy. So it's the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes and try and feel what they're feeling and connect to what they're feeling. And empathy plays a huge role for me as an Aboriginal person who has to get up in front of a lecture theatre of 100 predominantly non-Indigenous students and teach them about our histories, our cultures, our peoples. I have to understand where they're coming from in terms of their reaction to some of the content they learn, and often it's the first time they've learnt about it in a formal education setting, which is not a good reflection of our Australian schooling system sometimes. So yeah, there's that, and then there's also just when you're making partnerships with people in terms of research, a lot of our communities are very wary of researchers for really, really good reasons. And just being Aboriginal doesn't mean that, people automatically trust me. So often that empathy, that kindness, it's about your actions. So it's about sitting and listening to people. Listening is as important as talking in my work, in my world.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. We have 21 values here at AIM, and empathy and listening and all of that is one of our values, because we understand the importance of listening and really understanding what people are saying and how that can build trust and stuff like that. So thank you. We have some comments coming in from the YouTube chat line. We have Penny asking, Karen, how important do you feel kindness is in the current climate with all that's going on?
Oh, kindness is absolutely necessary. And I think what we've seen, particularly in the last couple of months, as we've moved into this new way of living and being with the COVID-19 and the pandemic, is we've actually seen these acts of kindness, and we've actually seen in lots of ways when Australia can be at its best, when we pull together. Our theme for National Reconciliation this year is In This Together. And although we came up with that last year before any of this happened, we thought it was really relevant as we think about, actually, you know what? We can't do this alone. We are all in this together, and we all have a part to play in that. And I think to the points that everybody else has made around putting yourself into other people's shoes and to thinking about how we can do things differently, how we can imagine a better outcome for everyone. What we know is when Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people are engaged and embraced, when our histories, our stories, our culture becomes part of the broader Australian story, we see so many better outcomes, not just for our people, but for all Australians. And I think there's something for us all to learn out of that. So I think if we can harness and take all the good things that have come out of this sort of terrible situation we've found ourselves in the last couple of months and really harness that into the future, I think we're all going to be better off about that.
Thank you so much for that. Really great and in-depth answer. There was a lot there to unpack. Ree, do you want to jump in and ask any questions?
Yeah, Karen, you spoke earlier about strength and courage in truth telling, and I suppose my question off the back of that to Amy is what part do you think that plays in being a journalist with The Guardian?
It plays all of the part, because if you don't have truth telling, then what is the point of me and my job? And that can be really difficult for people to hear sometimes. There's been a lot of times when I've been reporting on something that the government's doing and quite a lot of people don't want to believe it. So The Guardian recently has done a lot of work on the robo-debt campaign, which was an unlawful event run by the government, where they were pulling back what they were saying were Centrelink debts, and they were using an unlawful system to do that. And that reporting has been going on for years, but it took almost that long to get people interested in it. And part of that is because of the diaspora of media. I mean, I am obviously white, but I am the daughter of a migrant who came here from Lithuania after World War II. He was a displaced person. I am public school educated. I didn't have the networks that a lot of people in the press gallery where I work have. And so I've had to fight and scrape my way to get to where I am. And I've still obviously had a lot of systemic advantages along the way, but I am a minority. A lot of the people who are in journalism are private school educated, who have gone through university, who have walked straight into jobs in metro newsrooms. And we really need to work on Australian media on how we represent ourselves in the media and just increasing that representation, because you can't have truth telling if it's only one truth that you're telling.
Yeah, Izzy, how do you think so as a creative, how do you turn the reality and the truth of a situation into a performance, a song, a film, a play?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So basically, there's a process to it. Like if I have experienced a situation where I'm just like walking down the street and I saw a situation that really like kind of affects me, I'll go home and just kind of write that. And when I write that, I have to like translate it to myself and put it into a paper. When I put it into a paper, I just kind of read, and when that kind of just kind of reflect, and if the situation just kind of reflected to me, and if I felt whatever situation that might be, and I'm just going to use like a good example of a short film that I've done, and it's called Road Dogs. And basically, I was just like driving one night, and I saw a couple of young people were pulled over by the police. And straight away I went home and I just wrote it down. And so when I wrote it down, I just didn't go away and just go and make it happen. I had to like go and do a research, talk to the young people, talk to the police and find out what had happened, and went to the police camp. And now there was like a relationship that being built and trust that been already built. And then together now we had to go and make that film as educational purpose for young people at school to learn from, as well as the police. So basically, you have to put a lot of research in it, and you have to go and meet the people who have experienced it. Because if you're not experiencing that, there's no point of you writing it, because that's not the truth. So yeah, a lot of research and talking to the people. And if you want to bring them in the room together to tell you their story, and for you to go away and write it, you can definitely have the right. But if they don't give you the consent for you to go and tell the story, I think you should give respect. So I do give a lot of respect for people who are telling me their stories or share it with me, and I give them credit as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Marnee, speaking of research, the last time we met was in Townsville, I believe, and you were conducting a research on teachers and their perspectives of Indigenous students and students of different marginalised backgrounds. And Izzy made a really great point there about connecting, I suppose, the people that we're doing the research on and the people in power. And so my question to you is, how do you influence the system, or how do you educate the system and the people that are meant to be teaching or protecting us?
Great question, Ree. Look, for me as a researcher, I've never been interested in doing research because that knowledge doesn't exist. I always wanted to create knowledge that was going to be transformational, either in practice or in policy. And we know policy in this country towards our people has been pretty unsuccessful. And we know that it's lacked our voices, it's lacked our aspirations and our perspectives. So I think the way to do it, Ree, is ensuring that research is privileging the voices of those who the research is about in ways that honours and respects those peoples and those knowledges, and then also what that person or what that researcher does with it. So my role in the Centre for Policy Futures is about research to policy translation. So that's about thinking of ways to inform research policy development. So in terms of how research is written, most research goes into academic journals that a lot of people can't access, and that's useless in terms of trying to translate research into policy in general. So there's a few little steps that researchers should really be doing in terms of engaging end users or policymakers. So I do things like I write for a media outlet called The Conversation. I've written a couple of articles for them, and that got me some exposure in terms of a broader audience. And then that sort of led to me being appointed onto the QATSI-TAC, which is the Queensland Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Educational Ministerial Advisory Committee. So there's 8 of us on that committee from lots of different knowledge holders, from elders to educators. And so we sit with the Minister of Education in Queensland, and we give her advice on issues to do with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander policy implementation. So it's about getting that seat at the table as well. So trying to figure out ways to have that influence.
Yeah, for sure. And I think last time we were looking at the impact of imagination in the curriculum, and I suppose, you know, that broader goes to reconciliation as well. So Karen, what do you think the lines are between imagination and reconciliation, and how we can move forward together as a country?
I don't think we can have reconciliation if we don't have an imagination. If we don't and can't imagine a better world where Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people are at the foundation and fundamental centre of who we are as in Australia, then we can't think about the processes or the ways that we go about doing that. Much like Marnee says, there's lots of knowledge out there and lots of people have it, but how do we bring it into those practical, tangible things that make a difference? And for us, you know, reconciliation is this big word that gets used a lot in lots of different ways. But for me, if I can't feel it, if I can't see it in the communities where I live, where I work, where I play, then we're not doing our job properly. And that takes imagination, it takes courage, it takes strength. And I'm really kind of excited to be sitting on this panel with these great thinkers who are also doing some great things, because we've all got this role to play.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Ree, for leading those great answers and questions. And I was just sitting here in awe, just listening to all of it. We've got one question from the YouTube chat line, and I'd love if you can all just answer it. So what does kindness to yourself look like?
Respecting myself or others.
Awesome, Will. Thank you for jumping in there and answering that. Karen, would you like to jump in?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, kindness to me is about respect for others and respect for yourself. And that means sometimes you need to take that time out, because I know, especially when we lead really busy lives, if I don't have time for me and recharge my batteries, I can't be of help and service to others.
Awesome. Well, thank you for jumping in and for being a part of our panel. We do ask that sorry, I'm getting a little bit mixed up here. If you had a chance to say a 60-second spiel to a 13-year-old across the world, or even in your own backyard, what would it be? So we're going to give you guys 30 seconds right now just to share your message. What's the message that you want to share? So Marnee, we'll start with you.
Okay, thank you for that on the spot question, Charisse. So I would say, I would say imagination is key to thinking about the sorts of futures that you want to occupy. I'd also say that, the world is changing, and it's changing very quickly. So we need our young people to be our thinkers and our leaders of the future. And I think the young people that I have the privilege of working with have the most amazing ideas for how we can reimagine the world. to be a better place, to address climate change, to address racial inequalities. And I would say dream big and work hard. It's a lot of hard work, but you can do it.
Thank you for that. As 13-year-old you, what message would you send?
Yeah, I'm not gonna think backward. I'm gonna think like forward, in the future, and how I want to see my, 26 years old want to see. I'm not 26, by the way, but like the message is that is just to go to school, study, get that education, and influence the system with your power, with your knowledge, and also have the kindness and the courage, and build bridges within other communities, and also travel the world. Because if you don't travel the world, basically you won't gonna know a lot about other communities. And Australia is a melting pot, and literally we don't even know our neighbors. So yeah.
What great advice. Travel the world and get to see other communities. Thank you for that. Karen, 13-year-old self or 13-year-old today, what would you offer them?
Well, as I say to my nieces and nephews, dream big, think big, be big, believe in yourself, and never let other people tell you that what you think and believe and dream doesn't matter, because even the smallest thing that you do will have an impact.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And Amy, last but definitely not least, what's your message?
I think it would be that people believe the story that you tell about yourself. So make sure that it's a good story. Don't talk yourself down. You are going to come across a lot of people who have expectations about you because of where you're from, or what you look like, or what you sound like, and you don't have to meet them. You don't have to stay in your lane. If you write right now, you're a writer. If you're creating art, you're an artist. You don't have to wait for people to label you. You can be whoever you want to be, and who you are right now is that person. So even if you can't talk yourself up, then stop talking yourself down, because the one truth that I've discovered in my time on this planet is people really do believe the story that you were telling about yourself.
Thank you so much for that. Andrea, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask our panel?
Well, I thought for, I think it was Marnee, as an educator, what would be your goals for all Aboriginal and Torres Strait young people?
Well, Ree knows about some of the work I'm doing. So going back to Ree and I bumped into each other in Townsville, and the project I was working on there was it was asking educators, what does excellence in Indigenous education look like? Because for far too long, teachers and principals and school leaders have been hearing about our young people in a deficit way. They've been hearing about gaps and closing the gap. And so what that's done is it's created this idea that, we're here and non-Indigenous students are here. And so asking them to create a kind of conversation about excellence in Indigenous education, it was a difficult thing because that's been so ingrained. And so what we're trying to do is start a conversation about what that looks like, because I believe that Indigenous education benefits all young people in every single classroom. Our knowledges span back 65,000 plus years. And we all care for this country now. We're all on this country, and it's about getting schools and the education system to see the value of our people and our knowledges and our contributions.
Yeah, I think that's just so important. Thank you for that. And as an Aboriginal student myself, I think it's really good to be able to break some really strong boundaries there, especially with learning that type of thing. I think it's really important that we're able to raise the bar and keep pushing it forward so that we get that equality. So.
Thank you for jumping in and asking those questions, and a big thank you to our panel today for jumping on and stripping away back and really allowing us to get to know you and answering these great questions. So thank you. We all appreciate your time. We all understand that you're busy people, and thank you for sharing with us today.
A couple of years ago, our CEO and founder, Jack, caught up with Nova Perez to speak about her journey and how she's got to where she is today. Let's check out that interview and we'll come back after.
And I am only as young as the minute is full of it. Getting pumped up on the little bright things I want. But I know they'll never own me.
The first ever Indigenous woman to be elected into federal parliament. What was that like for you to be sitting there the night before and getting ready to walk in? How were you feeling?
Yeah, I was really nervous, but at the same time, it was like I felt I was meant to sort of be there. It was a bit of a emotional roller coaster as well. I was really, really nervous about my my first speech. I had to get that right, I had to nail it.
I say this to all my Indigenous brothers and sisters and to all people. Within every one of us lies the ability to reach deep inside ourselves and draw upon our inherited strength that our ancestors have given us. There lies a spirit that needs to be awakened. Aboriginal Australians are symbolic of triumph over adversity. We represent knowledge and wisdom held in land and country.
Where I and how I got to become comfortable is, if you know the history of where Capitol Hill, it was a birthing site for Aboriginal women. I sort of felt this is a place where women can do business. So I felt I'm going to own the corridors, I'm meant to be here, and the fact that Neville Bonner, that dear old man, he was, his first time into Parliament was 1971. That was the year that I was born. So there's a lot of synergies, and that I've always sort of drawn my strength from coincidences of things, serendipity, whatever you call it. However I land myself in certain positions, good or bad, I embrace it for what it is. And so I felt a sense of, I'm meant to be in this place. I was meant to get that tap on the shoulder by, Julie Gillard.
There's a stereotype that plays out that, Aboriginal kids are great at sport, great at art, but maybe these corridors aren't for these youngsters. And I think flipping that mentality or that power or that strength that you showed in that moment is something that probably the kids on the other side can learn from. But how do you do that? At
that time I thought to myself, here I am, an Aboriginal woman, the first in this federal parliament. I've travelled to 55 countries around this world, wearing the green and gold as an Aboriginal woman, where I empowered and inspired white, black, brindle, Asian, you name it. People have come up to me, Muslim women have said, I've inspired them, I've given them hope. I grew up in housing commission. My mum was a stolen generation, my grandparents were stolen generation, and I don't embrace hate. I have every reason to be cranky and mad at the world, but I embrace who I am. I embrace my resilience. I embrace the fact that I'm a descendant of the oldest collective race of people on the planet. I embrace the fact that my grandmother, wore a Hessian bag for her years on a mission, but she had a reason to live. So I owe it to my grandparents. I owe it to my mother, who never had an education. So all these things that people think that they can knock me down and cripple me at my kneecaps, I'm like, move on, next please. It just doesn't. I don't feel the need to get pulled down into their world of negativity. You're not born with hate, you're not born ignorant, you're not born racist. All these things are self-taught, and I think when people use negative language, they put other people down, that validates who they are as human beings, and it takes a bigger person to rise above that. I've been subjected to years and years of racial hatred and really, really vile attacks, and I could let that get to me. I dig deep into the resilience of my grandmother, into the resilience of my mother. I call my mother my Uluru. I tell my kids, school, 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 school. It's bloody cool. You can get out there as a proud Aboriginal kid and you can walk those two worlds. You know, you can walk down the chambers of Parliament House and own that place. Our people have so much wisdom, and, you know, there's so much that we have to celebrate. It's, you know, it's good being an Aboriginal person.
What gives you hope now?
The amount of educated kids, the more educated they are, the more opportunities they have to get a good job, the more opportunities they have to sustain our culture. And these are the things that should be celebrated in our lives. These are the things that should be on the front page.
You've offered some pretty amazing insights for the youngsters that are on the other side of the camera, all well earned because you've lived it and done it and definitely walked it. What can they do after today to make one small step towards potentially living a more positive life?
Be kind to yourself. Set small goals. You know, in order to reach that top of the mountain, that big goal, you've got to climb that mountain. If things don't always go your way, just remember, you know, there could be a lesson learnt from it. You may not be able to control other people's opinions of you or how things unfold. The only thing that we can control is how we react to it. One of my little favourite sayings of all time is, you know, nothing is impossible to those who see the invisible. You know, if you believe in something strong enough, you can see it, then go make it happen.
What a very inspirational woman to end on after a great panel. I just want to thank everyone so much for being here today, to all the panel members, to the school, to the principal that joined on. Bandra, how do you feel after today?
I think that today's been a great experience, and I'm so happy that I've been able to partake in it. It was great to watch the panel and to even ask a question myself. I think that everyone can take something from each and every one of the people that were on the panel. And I think it's great to have people from all different walks of life to be able to come and share their experiences and to answer questions, and for us to be able to take something from that, I think would be really vital. And it's been just so great to be on the show. So, yeah.
Well, I am so thankful that you're on the show today. You're an absolute legend. So thank you so much for jumping on and for putting your hand up and wanting to step up and be a future leader. So thank you so much. Yeah. Well, I think that was a great exploration of kindness today. We've learned that we need to be kind to others and be kind to ourselves as well. And one of my favorite ways that Ellen DeGeneres ends the show is be kind to one another. So let's be kind to one another, and we'll see you next time.